Okay, Sunsara, we missed you last week, but for a good reason. You were up in Berkeley, California, at the Revolution Books. Why don't you tell people about that and then also what's to come?
Yeah, so last week we did our first stop, myself with Raphael, who's also a contributor here on the RNL show. I gave a speech up at Revolution Books in Berkeley called Woke Lunacy versus Real Revolution. We've been doing a series here on this show, and we are taking this out in the world, especially to students and youth, to wake them up, to shake them out of the cancel culture. Some of the things that Michelle talked about at the end of the rally in Los Angeles here, to shake them out of the ways that they are, busy, caught up tearing each other down, being obsessed with word changing instead of world changing, and turn them on to a real revolution. So we actually brought a snippet of the speech that I gave in Berkeley. We want to share it and then announce some of what's coming up with this tour.
All right, so let's watch that.
Should the goal be to guard ourselves with trigger warnings and safe spaces within this monstrous system? Or do we need to get out of our comfort zones and put it on the line to fight for a world that is actually safe for the masses of oppressed humanity all over the world? A professor at Hamline University in St. Paul warned her students, gave them a chance to opt out, and then she showed an artwork that included a picture of the Prophet Muhammad in an art history class. You know what happened next? She got fired because a student took offense. Raphael, who introduced tonight's program, took this poster, a larger version. This is faces of people killed by police. He took this poster out several years back at the Cal campus right near us. And what was the response of the students? He was trying to mobilize them to stand up against this unending epidemic of police murdering and brutalizing black and brown people. The response from the students? Some of them tried to drive him off campus because they were triggered by it. Never mind the real people who were killed with real triggers. Just don't make me look at it. It's too upsetting for me. I was once part of a group of people who was escorted out by police under threat of arrest from a so-called reproductive rights conference at Hampshire College. Our crime? So we had a table, we were tabling. A student came up to talk to us, and in the course of this conversation, they were arguing that the global sex industry is really a form of empowerment. This industry in which 5 million people, 99% of them women and children, are literally enslaved. And we refuse to join them in calling it empowering. Very calmly, but firmly. They came to our table, they could have left, we just stood there and we argued with them. Then they started crying. Oh my God, 5-alarm emergency, call the police. We got escorted out, we were threatened with arrest because the students' feelings were hurt. And the organizers of the conference insisted on it. Seriously, calling oppression empowerment or agency does not change the reality that it is oppression. And calling the police, the violent enforcers of the state, to keep you safe from being upset about reality does not change that reality. In fact, it continues to enforce that reality because it protects you from having to see it and do something about it. It is time for young people to stop being soft crybabies. The real world exists. We have to confront it and deal with it. And here I want to quote something from Bob Avakian, from his work, Something Terrible or Something Truly Emancipating. He says, enough of woke folk who act as if it is actually the oppressed, or as they like to say, the marginalized, who are fragile beings, constantly in need of the protection of safe spaces, lest they fall apart at the mere appearance of a triggering phenomenon. And since when are universities and other institutions supposed to be places where you are safe, not just from physical violence of one kind or another, and not just from overtly threatening or clearly degrading verbal assaults, but from ideas? statements, etc., that simply make you uncomfortable. How are you going to change the world if you are in danger of falling apart at things like that? And he continues, and he speaks with a lot of firsthand knowledge and broader understanding. He continues, in any real struggle to deal with any real oppression, up against powerful enforcers of that oppression, you are going to have to face the prospect of real sacrifice, including the prospect of being physically attacked. And if you think that you can carve out little safe enclaves and that this is somehow going to lead to any kind of significant change in society, you are full of illusions and delusions. End quote.
All right, so that's just a taste of the speech that I gave up in Berkeley. We're getting ready to take it out to UCLA May 24th, and we are calling on everybody across the Southern California area, and especially UCLA campus, but also more broadly to come and be there in the house, to bring your friends, to help spread the word to the students with us in the lead up. May 24th, Woke Lunacy versus Real Revolution. And wherever you are in the country, we're going to find ways to share the footage of this, to organize screenings of it, and get in touch with us to bring this tour to where you are, especially to college campuses.
All right, Sunsara, this program is really important. We need people to come out on the 24th. Why? Because this wokeness, this way of thinking about the world is keeping a whole generation away from even imagining a different future, let alone getting out and fighting for it and being part of the revolution. So this is a kind of ferocious struggle that you are waging on the campuses to wake people up, to wake people up from wokeness. Okay, that's what we got to do, and to tell them to shed that and get into making a real difference. And as you say, get out of that woke lunacy and get into a revolution to radically change the world.